ship would be that way, and that would be port, and that would be starboard. Port being 4 letters for left, starboard would be more for right. And the numbers would be 100 degrees, 110 degrees aft, or however they wanted to say. As you can see, aft is on this one. So you could look at that, and they've got starboard on that, and port side on that. So if you was down here, at least you know which way you're shooting. All right, going up some more steps. I'll be back with you shortly. All right, welcome back. Here we are at Fire Station Central. These tools were used to fight fires on the ship. You see the mannequin has on his breathing apparatus. There's cans of foam they would use, all the tools, fire hoses, lights, nozzles, the red things on the back wall or nozzle. And there's ship plans for all the hooking up their firefighting equipment at certain stages of the ship. Alright, let's head on down the line. Another scuttlebutt. The reason why they call it scuttlebutt, that's where everybody taught. Okay, here's a working door. When you close it, it'd have to be like that. And then these would fit on this side. Last man through would start turning it till the door was tight. Keep seawater out or gas, smoke, in case of gas attack, whatnot. I don't think there were too many gas attacks, but they did every time there was general quarters. All doors were shut, which made it really, really hot on the ship. Other side of the machinist shop. All right, this is where your marine detachment would be stationed. They don't have it open. They open it up on special days, but not today. Here's your steward's kitchen. Now this is where, if you were an officer, you ate different food than the men of the enlisted variety. And that's some of the fresh fruit, and everything was cooked to your liking. Just a smaller kitchen. That there is a dumbwaiter. It would be sent up to the officer's mess. You paid a little bit more to have this type of service, but unfortunately this is where most of your men of color worked. It freed up the other men to do other jobs, and sadly, but that's the way it was. The Navy was segregated back then. Going into sick bay. Now, notice the change of the color of the wall from white to green. You're now in officer country. You better have a good reason to be in here, or you got in trouble. Surgical, no, yeah, it could be a surgical room. Here's your dental office. Yes, they had dentists. Your supplies. This here's the office. See the crude drills, x-ray machine. 3 chairs, no waiting. Everything was crude, so you better take care of your teeth. This here's your laboratory where they did specimens, things like that. This is your dispensary. It's where they made your medicine. Nothing was all in pill form. They made it. This was the doctor's office. Surprising there's no cots in this one. I guess they stayed over here. There's your cots there. And this would be your surgical room. Notice all the lights. Ether, put you out. All the blankets. Crude tools they use. Oxygen. Kind of hard to be working on somebody when you're trying to have surgery on somebody and the shit's rolling and it's god awful hot, you're sweating. Well, this is sick bay. As you notice, these bunks are a little different. They had thicker mattresses and these bars would help keep you in the rack. And some more showers. Now these toilets are more normal. Must have been a refit, and there was a bath. And you had a shower with privacy here. Because you'd had wounds and stuff like that. This is the barbette for turret 1.
We're almost here.
Oh, sorry.
15.
Very small doors to get into. This is the pantry where the officers would get their stuff, their foods, whatever they wanted. This is where they'd sit, smoke, joke, drink coffee. This is holding anything from petty officer to warrant officer, officer of the day. Now that's turret 2 back there. This would be turret 1. Officer stateroom. Notice he's got a nice bunk, but he is right on the outside of the ship. Officers had a better life than most. The captain, he was really medical officer. He's got a somewhat of a nicer bed. He's got a pretty good bed. Reason why they got rails up there is so you don't roll out. You don't need them on the bottom bunk. These flag officers, incoming mail, outgoing mail. All your messages will come down that tube, or you can send them out. How would you like to climb into those bunks? It'd be a little difficult, wouldn't you say? I believe those would be gun racks, I'm not sure. Supply office. Notice the old antique typewriters. Crude phones, safe. Gunnery office. Now the brown and black barrel you see right in front of you, that was used to clean the 16-inch guns. And beside it is a dummy practice round. And on that electrical thing, the shell in the back that's yellow and white, that's a 5-inch 38 caliber shell. And the green, white, and red, that's a 40 millimeter gun shell for the 40 millimeter gun. There's another 5-inch shell. The ones behind the Naval Courier service bag, the two on the right, they're 20 millimeter. And I don't know if you can see it, it's small. The one on the left, that's a 50 caliber. When the ship first was launched, enter service, it had 50 caliber machine guns as weapons. That's an armature to it. Motor, if it needed to be replaced, they had these stationed throughout the ship. Alright, we're here on the main deck now. This is the back of turret 1. Looks like they've been sanding the teak deck. Now what you're looking at here looks like a torpedo. There's one here and one on the other side. They would flip that post over and it would sit right there on that space, and that bar would hook to it somehow, probably in that owlboat, and this would be lowered overside and it would be used to cut cables to land sea mines rather. It would go outside the ship. The There's something, oh yeah, see the little, look like jaws of life. That would cut the cable, and you would have your sharpshooters on deck. When they float up to the top of the water, they would shoot them, blow them up. That's how they got through minefields. Didn't do much good for the center of the ship, but it was effective. Coming to some of the original guns of the battleship North Carolina. This is your 1.1 inch quadruple gun mount. It'd go out 3,000 yards, 100 rounds, 50 per minute. Take 15 men to operate this. And, they would sit here. One would have a wheel that was here. I'm not sure which is which. It would elevate the gun up and down. I believe this one turned it side to side. And this one elevated it up and down. These were some of the worst guns ever made. They jammed up quite a bit because this magazine, it went back and forth like this, and it jammed up quite a bit. And there's a story during the Christmas holidays. Of course, the guns were kept loaded. They needed to be in action. Nobody's on the gun, but the gun just started firing by itself. And when the gun captain was questioned by the captain, the gun captain just said, well, I guess the gun got into the Christmas spirit, and the captain was not happy with his response. So they took all these off and replaced them with the 20mm cannons and 40mm, which I'll show you later on. Well, folks, I'm here at the drink machine. I've been down. It's hot. I'm gonna get me a drink. Y'all go take y'all a drink. My voice is a little dry. We'll be back shortly. Okay, folks, here we have the 40mm Bofors anti-aircraft gun. Here's one of the seats for the trainers. Some of you may recognize this as the old Farmall tractor seats, and that's basically all it was. One of your trainers would sit here and put his feet here, and he would crank this handle, which would rotate the gun either or way. And the trainer was sit here, and he'd crank this handle and elevate the guns, but his foot could fire the guns. He'd press that pedal. As long as there was a round in the chamber, the guns would fire. Now this gun could be operated manually or by this fire director. I don't see the motor. Usually it'd have a motor hanging here, but the person operating that could actually maneuver and fire this gun. He's got a telescope sight he can look through, whereas all they have was a spider web. Now all these weld marks were racks that held the 4-round clips that got the gun going until the handlers could start passing the ammunition, and it would come out these chutes right here. You grab them, pass it to the loader, There'd be one here, one here, one there, and one there, and they would just drop it down. And these types of guns was used by all branches of the military, including the Axis, during World War II. Germany got a hold of some when the British vacated Dunkirk until they run out of ammunition. Then they had to discard the gun. But these guns actually shot down more aircraft than any other gun during World War II. Now, you got to imagine, this is where all the action happens. But all the rest of the action happens below deck from the ammunition handlers. And of course, after the gun fired, the shell would come out this little tube, go down the slide here, and would be ejected here. And then when all the action was done, you had to pick up all the brass, and they saved the brass, sent it back to the States. They remanufactured them, put more shells in them, shipped them back. But you can imagine how quick, I mean, that's pretty quick turning by hand, but it's made for 4,000, 3,000, 2,000 yards off the ship's bow or stern or starboard or port. But if the ship had a plane come zooming by right here, there's no way you could turn that quick enough to get your sights on it. So it was mainly for 2 to 3, 4,000 yard protection. That's when they got closer than that, that's when your 20 millimeters would open up, and they would be your close in support. Now this right here, like I said, was a fire director. The person would be strapped in. Here's his trigger here. He could operate this gun or the 5-inch guns. Flip of a switch. You can actually sit in the seat. They just don't want you climbing on top of the gun. Yeah, you could turn the handles, elevate, rotate the gun, but just can't climb on top. You're welcome. But like I was saying, it could operate that mount or the 5-inchers. And they had big hefty motors. It would turn on a dime just as fast as you could crank that. And this helped a lot better get the guns on target during the attack. But you had to learn the silhouette of the plane, because when it's 2, 3, 4,000 yards out, you're just seeing an outline, and you had to learn friend from foe, or you might be shooting down your own planes. We're heading to the big 16-inch mount guns here. Maybe there won't be anybody in here this time. Okay, we're in the Turret 3 gun house now. And you can't get to the breech, but as you see, the breech is open and the loading tray is coming down. It's got a shell in the tray. That will lay flat out. Here is the handler that operates the tray and everything. Likewise right here. the powder bags have been loaded onto the tray. Now the rammer, he's already rammed the shell home, and he rams it in as hard as it'll go. But once the powder bags are put in, you can see your ramming rod is stored in here. He pushes them in so very gently, pushes it in snug, pulls it back. The door to the powder hoist shuts. The tray comes up. They close the breech, and they put a 50-inch caliber blank in the end of the breech. The gun goes into battery, and the plotting takes over, and the gun barrel will move up and down till it gets just right to all of them, depending on how many they're gonna fire. And then when they all get where they need to be, it'll fire off. Now, once they fire, they have air lines that blow the spent powder out, blows the smoke out the end of the barrel, so when you open the breech, it doesn't flood the gun house with black smoke. And then the process starts all over again. Now, I'll splice in some of the loading action, but some of y'all remember the Iowa that exploded. That was due to a person subbing for the rammer who did not know how to do it. He shoved the shell up into the breech, and then when they put the powder in, he shoved the powder in as hard as it could go, which caused an explosion.
Was the friction generated spark or what?
The compression. Each of the there's a red dot on the end of the bags. That's the primer powder. That's got to go off first. It'll burn, set the next one, so on, so on, so on. And it's just like a cap gun. You probably played with those back in the 50s. That's the way it works. And he just smashed them in there till it went off.
So how did the shells get up there?
They have a lower handling room. Have you been down to the storage? Okay, they have ropes on turnbuckles. They would actually spray light oil on the floor, put a rope around the shell and around the turnbuckle, tighten it up, and it would slide it into the hoist. The hoist would, shell would come up, as you see in that first one. The tray that's going down, it's laying in there. It comes straight up into the tray, and then it lays down.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And after that, the tray lays over, that hoist goes back down, gets another shell. They can fire this gun every 30 seconds.
That's crazy.
Where's the powder come from?
At the very bottom of the ship, they had the powder handling hoist. It's 3 of them. They're all loading them the same way. You would think they would be one here, one here, one here, but 2 of them side by side, one's over here. They load 6 powder bags in each hoist. It comes up, there's 2 trays actually. The first one will come up, they'll roll it in, they'll push 2 back, 1 into the breech. The next tray will come up, they roll the 3 into the center, close the tray, and the rammer, this is the rammer right here. It's a chain that only bends one way, which is curved back there.
Okay.
So it'll push that powder up there ever so softly. And then the gun operator will tell them go back. He'll bring it back. The loading tray will come up. They'll close the breech, lock it in, put a 50 caliber primer in it. And then they'll signal ready, and the gun, it'll go down until all the guns that they're going to use is ready, and then they'll start doing this till they get it on target. They're matching the roll and the dip of the ship getting the weather information, the temperature of the bags, humidity outside, until everything matches up. Then they'll shoot them off, and then it starts all over.
What were the casualties? Explosion. Remember?
It was, I think there's 77 men to a turret, and I believe it killed 59 of them.
59. Wow.
Because
What ship was that?
the USS Iowa.
That's right.
This explosion, I mean, a 500-pound bomb could hit this, you wouldn't feel it. So the explosion all went down. Now they have a pretty good program here called Firepower Tour. They will actually let you get down in the breech of the gun. It's a little expensive, but I enjoyed it.
Wow.
They actually take you into
That'd be the area I would like that.
the 5-inch guns,
Watch your head.
how they operate and whatnot. It's really good.
That's right. Well, that way.
That's the only way in and out.
I was thinking about it. I don't know what to understand.
And here you can see they're ramming the powder into the breech. You see the red dot is facing outwards. And I think it's like 35 men in this gun house, between being up here and all. Well, I'm gonna get out of here. I'll bring you back later. Well, folks, I hope you enjoyed this tour. I wasn't able to get you into the 38 caliber 5-inch gun house. They had them closed off. But this is going to take a lot of splicing, editing to bring it to you. I may have to break it up into several videos. But this is B-Town Jetter saying, have a blessed day. If you like this video, hit the like button, smash that subscribe button, help me grow my channel. I seem to be stuck at 322 people. Well, this is B-Town Jetter saying, have a blessed day.